Carl Jung's exploration of the human psyche did not stop at the personal unconscious or the individual shadow. He went deeper, proposing one of his most profound and honestly revolutionary ideas, the collective unconscious. Jung believed that beneath our personal layer of repressed memories and disowned traits, there exists a second, far deeper psychic system that is universal to all of humanity. This is not a repository of our individual life experiences, but rather a vast, shared inheritance of psychic material passed down through generations. He envisioned it as a common ground, a kind of psychic ocean in which we all swim, connecting every human being across time and culture. It is the repository of our shared ancestral memory. This collective layer of the unconscious is populated not by personal memories, but by what Jung called archetypes. These are innate, universal psychic predispositions or patterns that structure our experience and understanding of the world. They are the primordial images and themes that have recurred in the myths, religions, and fairy tales of every culture throughout history. The hero, the great mother, the wise old man, the trickster. These are not learned ideas, they are inherited potentials within the human psyche, a kind of psychological DNA that shapes how we perceive and react to fundamental life experiences like birth, death, love, and conflict. They are, in a sense, the universal grammar of the human soul. When we experience a powerful emotional reaction that seems, well, disproportionate to the immediate situation, Jung would suggest that we might have tapped into this collective layer. Archetypes are the fundamental building blocks of the collective unconscious. They are not fully formed images or ideas, but rather instinctual patterns, like dry riverbeds in the psyche which experience and emotion flow through. When we encounter a situation in the real world that corresponds to an archetypal pattern, that archetype is activated within us, and we experience a rush of emotion and meaning that feels larger than life. The archetype of the mother, for instance, is not about our personal mother. It is the innate human potential to experience and understand nurturing, fertility, and unconditional love. Our personal mother is just the first screen onto which we project this universal pattern. Consider the powerful archetypes associated with joy and fulfillment. The archetype of union, often symbolized by marriage or deep partnership, represents the universal human longing for completion through connection with another. The archetype of the hero's triumph represents the timeless story of overcoming great obstacles to achieve a goal, a pattern that resonates with our own innate drive for growth and success. The archetype of paradise, or the golden age, speaks to a deep, collective memory of a state of perfect belonging and contentment. These are not just abstract concepts, they are living, psychic forces within us, shaping our deepest desires and our most poignant sorrow. It is to recognize that your personal struggles are not unique or isolated. Your longing for love, your desire for meaning, and your fear of being left behind are part of a shared inheritance, a story that has been told and retold in countless lives for millennia. Your personal sadness becomes a reflection of the universal human condition. Jung believed that engaging with these archetypal feelings was essential for a rich and meaningful life. To deny them is to cut yourself off from the deepest wellspring of psychic energy. When you allow yourself to feel the ache of the universal story, you are participating more fully in your own humanity. You're acknowledging that your life is not just a series of random events, but a personal journey that echoes with timeless, mythic themes. The sadness in this context is not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be experienced, one that connects your individual heart to the collective heart of the world. Ultimately, Jung's concept of the collective unconscious provides, I suppose, the widest and most compassionate lens through which to view our puzzling reactions to others' joy. It suggests that when we feel sad, we are sometimes feeling something much larger than our own personal disappointment. We are, in a sense, feeling the human condition itself. We are experiencing the profound paradox of being an individual soul who is, at the same time, inextricably connected to a vast collective whole. We are feeling the beauty of the archetypal pattern of joy and simultaneously the sorrow of our own temporary distance from it. This is, really, the bittersweet nature of a conscious and feeling life. This perspective elevates our inner experience. It transforms a seemingly selfish emotion into an act of profound empathy. The sadness is a testament to our sensitivity, to our capacity to be moved by the great, timeless dramas of human life. It means we are not closed off or numb. Our psyche is open and responsive to the archetypal currents that flow through the world. We are able to recognize and resonate with the universal significance of another's personal moment. The joy of another person becomes a reminder of what is most beautiful and most sought after in the human experience, and our sadness is simply a measure of how deeply we value those very things. Therefore, when you next find yourself feeling a quiet pang of sorrow in the face of someone else's good fortune, you can choose to see it in a new light. Perhaps it is not just your personal shadow or a repressed Freudian wish. Perhaps you are also feeling the weight and beauty of a universal story. You can ask yourself, what timeless human theme is being played out here? Is it love, belonging, or triumph? And what does my emotional reaction tell me about my own connection to that universal human longing? This line of questioning shifts the focus from personal lack to shared experience. This understanding does not erase the pain, but it gives it meaning and dignity. It allows us to hold our sadness with a sense of reverence, recognizing it as a sign of our connection to all of humanity. It reminds us that our personal journey is part of a much larger narrative, one filled with both exquisite joy and profound longing. By feeling our own small sadness, we are, in a way, honoring the collective heart of the world with all its triumphs and all its tears. We are simply and beautifully feeling what it means to be human. So what are we to do with this complex and uncomfortable feeling? When the shadow of sadness falls upon us in the midst of someone else's celebration, our first instinct is often to push it away. We judge it, we deny it, or we distract ourselves from its presence. Both Freud and Jung, however, would offer the same fundamental piece of advice, a piece of advice that runs counter to our every instinct. Do not turn away. Turn toward it. The sadness is not your enemy. It is a profound and trustworthy messenger from the deep, intuitive parts of your psyche. To ignore its message is to miss a crucial opportunity for growth and self-understanding. The first step, then, is to simply listen. This act of listening requires a radical shift from judgment to curiosity. It means creating a quiet internal space where the feeling is allowed to exist without being immediately condemned as wrong or shameful. Imagine, just for a moment, treating the sadness not as an intruder, but as an honored guest who has traveled a long way to bring you important news. You would not shout at this guest or push them out the door. You would invite them in, offer them a seat, and listen patiently to what they have to say. This internal posture of gentle acceptance is the key that unlocks the wisdom held within our most difficult emotions. It is a practice of self-compassion, a way of treating our inner world with kindness rather than criticism. Learning to listen in this way is a skill that can be cultivated over time. It can begin with simple mindfulness. The next time the feeling arises, take a moment to pause. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and notice where you feel the emotion in your body. Is it a tightness in your chest, a hollowness in your stomach, a lump in your throat? Simply observe the physical sensation without trying to change it. By grounding the emotion in your body, you move away from the frantic, self-critical stories in your head and into a more direct, non-judgmental experience of the feeling itself. This simple act creates the necessary space for its deeper message to begin to surface. This process is about building a better relationship with your own inner world. It is about trusting that your psyche has an innate wisdom, that it is always trying to guide you toward greater wholeness and authenticity. The sadness that you feel is not a malfunction. It is a perfectly functioning guidance system, alerting you to an area of your life that requires your conscious attention. By learning to listen to it, you are beginning to collaborate with your unconscious, rather than being at war with it. You are moving from a state of inner conflict to one of inner dialogue, a dialogue that holds the potential to heal and transform your entire life. Once you have created a space to listen to your sadness without judgment, the next step is to engage with it through gentle and honest self-inquiry. This is not a harsh interrogation, but a compassionate dialogue with yourself. It is the process of asking the right questions, questions that open doors rather than closing them. The goal is not to find a quick fix or an easy answer, but to deepen your understanding of the message the emotion is carrying. This practice transforms you from a passive recipient of your feelings into an active explorer of your own inner landscape, a detective searching for the hidden truths of your own heart. Jung, in particular, would encourage a line of questioning that seeks to uncover the disowned parts of the self. Instead of asking, "Why am I so envious?" you might ask a series of more constructive questions. Start by identifying the specific trigger. What exactly about their happiness is affecting me? Is it their loving relationship, their creative success, their financial freedom? Be as precise as possible. Then you can turn the question inward. What does this reveal about a part of my own life that I have been ignoring? Or what deep longing within me has this person's joy just awakened? This shifts the focus from them to your own unmet needs. Another powerful question to ask is, what part of myself have I deemed unacceptable that this situation is now bringing to light? This question goes directly to the heart of the shadow. Perhaps you've always prided yourself on being a practical, down-to-earth person, and you see a friend pursuing a passionate, artistic dream. The sadness you feel might be a message from your own repressed creative self. By asking this question, you can begin to see that the emotion is not about your friend's choice, but about a choice you have denied yourself. It is an invitation to reconsider the rigid definition you have created for who you are allowed to be. This practice of self-inquiry is most effective when it is done with patience and without pressure. You can write your questions and answers in a journal, speak them aloud when you are alone, or simply ponder them during a quiet walk. Sometimes the answers will come immediately in a flash of insight. Other times they may take days or weeks to emerge. The key is to hold the questions gently, allowing your unconscious mind the time and space it needs to respond. By consistently engaging in this dialogue, you are building a bridge between your conscious ego and your deeper self, a bridge that allows for wisdom, guidance, and healing to. Understanding the message behind your sadness is a crucial and illuminating step, but the journey does not end there. Insight without action can leave you feeling stuck in a state of passive awareness. The ultimate purpose of this emotional feedback is not just to inform you, but to motivate you. The sadness, the envy, the quiet ache, these are not just teachers. They are powerful sources of energy. They contain the fuel you need to make meaningful changes in your own life. The final and most important step is to transform this emotional energy into conscious, constructive action. This is how sadness becomes a true catalyst for growth. Once your self-inquiry has revealed a specific unmet need or a disowned part of yourself, the next question becomes, what is one small concrete step I can take to honor this part of me? The emphasis here is on small. If you realize your sadness is rooted in a deep-seated loneliness, the answer is not to immediately try and find a soulmate. That is too overwhelming. A small concrete step might be to call an old friend you have lost touch with, to sign up for a class that interests you, or to simply practice smiling at one stranger during your day. These small actions begin to shift the energy from stagnation to movement. This process is about taking your desires seriously. It is about treating your own longings with the respect they deserve. If you discover that your colleague's promotion has triggered your own buried ambition, you can choose to act on that insight. You could update your resume, research a professional development course, or schedule a meeting with your manager to discuss your career goals. Each action, no matter how minor it seems, sends a powerful message to your unconscious. I'm listening, I hear you. And we're going to do something about this. This alignment of insight and action is what builds self-esteem and creates real, lasting change. In this way, the people whose happiness once made you sad become unlikely guides on your own path. Their success no longer serves as a painful reminder of your lack, but as the spark that ignited your own journey of reclamation. The energy that was once bound up in repressed envy is liberated and channeled into building a life that is more authentic and fulfilling for you. The sadness, having delivered its message and spurred you into motion, can finally recede. It has done its job. It has been the teacher that guided you back to yourself, and the catalyst that empowered you to finally begin the work of becoming whole. This path of self-discovery is a lifelong endeavor. It is the art of learning to listen to the whispers of your own soul. It's about understanding that your relationship with others is always a reflection of the relationship you have with yourself. As you heal and integrate the hidden parts of your own psyche, you will find that your reactions to the world begin to change. You will be able to celebrate the joy of others more freely and genuinely, because their happiness will no longer be a mirror for your own lack. It will simply be what it is, a beautiful event in the life of another human being, one you can share in without losing yourself. So the next time you feel that familiar pang of sadness at another's joy, remember this: it is not a sign of your weakness, but a signal of your depth. It is not there to punish you, it is there to guide you. It is a message from the wisest part of yourself, reminding you of the person you are still waiting to become. Listen to it, honor it, and then take the first small step on the journey it is calling you to begin, because understanding these hidden feelings in the end is the key to truly and finally knowing yourself.